Hey guys, welcome back. So we got a Christmas surprise this year, right before Christmas. The long-awaited Chesapeake and Ohio F-19 Pacifics came in after a very long wait. These were actually in the Volume 2 2023 catalog. So almost all the 2024 catalog stuff has been delivered already, and these were still outstanding, but they're finally here. Originally, they were supposedly delayed because of some kind of decoration issue, so I don't know what that was, but anyway, they're finally here, so we'll check it out and see what they look like. So let's jump into it. So here it is. This is the F-19 Pacific. This is the George Washington train version, so we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, these are F-19 Pacifics. They're 462 wheel configurations. They've got 6-wheel trucks on the tender. Very, very cool tenders on these. And a lot of decoration and adornments on them and stuff like that. So we'll look at all that kind of stuff on these engines. This is the engine that obviously goes with the passenger cars I showed you, I don't know how many videos ago at this point, but basically this is the matching engine that goes with it to make the George Washington version of this train. So the George Washington, this train was inaugurated in April of 1932. It was one of only two fully air-conditioned trains at the time, so it was a big deal. And of course, this one basically was the C&O's premier passenger train with routes from Washington, D.C. all the way over to Cincinnati. With obviously one of the most famous stops being in West Virginia for the Greenbrier Resort, right? So this was the ultimate premier type of travel at the time. But you think about it, it was 1932, right after the Great Depression, so it was a big deal. But C&O put all their money into this passenger train, and it was, pretty much a huge success. Was a lot of a special adornment on this particular train, not only on the engine but in the passenger cars themselves, because it was sort of an anniversary train for the 200th anniversary of George Washington, obviously the president. There was a lot of stuff related to that, and so we'll look at all those details. But basically, the F-19s are not the, they're Pacifics, and for the most part they're okay, but on the front end here there is a lot of air pumps and feed water heaters and everything else hanging off the front here. Not the greatest looking front end of a steam engine, right? So the C&O did a lot of adornments and different things to try to spruce it up a little bit to make it look like, their premier passenger train. A lot of polished adornments on the front here and things like that. Also, the Pullman cars and everything were specially labeled with George Washington, which is not usual. They didn't usually do it that way, so that the cars could be moved from different trains to different trains. But in this particular case, they were specifically labeled with, the George Washington moniker and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. They were only made 5 of these locomotives, and they lasted from, when, not the George Washington, which was inaugurated in 32, but they actually started these back in 1926. And they ran all the way up to 1946, basically, until they were finally rebuilt. So pretty long run for these 5 locomotives that the C&O made. But this one is, they had different ones. One's called the Sportsman and things like that. This one was the actual George Washington, as you can see by the graphics on the side here and things like that. But yeah, they had those 5 locomotives that ran in service all that time. So pretty cool. They basically they were trying to make it their premier, finest premier passenger train service, and I think they accomplished it. All the passenger cars now that have been sitting there for quite a while down and get them behind this train, but before we run it. But basically, yeah, let's take a quick look at the train itself. Let's take some close-up looks. All right, so the big deal of the F-19s, of course, are these front ends, right? Because they've got a lot of stuff between the pumps and the feed water heaters and everything else going on the front end. So they were kind of ugly on the front, but because this was C&O's luxury premier train, they wanted to spruce it up a little bit. So what they did is they have a couple of things that they did. They have this polished George Washington figurehead on the top right here. You can see some polished, they also had polished pieces right here on the pumps, so lots of stuff there. The cylinder caps all were polished and they had stars on them, right? And then, you know, so as they were like trying to like spruce up the front end here, you know, a lot of it was just polished items that they kept highly polished during its run. So always kept clean by the C&O. So really cool. You can see the number boards and headlight are way down low on this particular engine, right? Unusual, it's usually up here near the top, right? But there are some marker lights on the top here across this bar, right? So just sort of a mishmash on this front end here, which is not what we usually see, but that's the way it was on these F-19s, which is what makes them unique. You know, you can see the bell right here. In this case, we do have a brass bell that's on here, so it looks really good. Lots of detail on the bottom here, scale coupler and everything, so looks really good. Polished caps with the stars on them look really good. And then of course these F-19s just have all this front end detail here, which looks fantastic, right? So I don't see any problems with it. We also got, there's polished items here too, right? So, and then they have the opening cab hatches and everything up. So now I wish they had put a step plate in here. That would have like sort of finished it off. They don't have one in between the engine and tender here, but that would have been cool. Okay, and then lots of piping detail along the bottom here. Just looks really good. Now the tender is one of the best parts of this particular engine, right? It's just one of the nicest looking ones, right? I love this style, right? 6-wheel trucks down here at the bottom. Okay, of course we have a regular coal load, and you've got all kinds of railings and handrails at the top here. It does have a little hatch. There's nothing in this particular one, but it does have a little opening hatch there. We've got the George Washington and Chesapeake and Ohio lettering here and the C&O logo here. So this was, on this particular model that I got, this was the 492, which has all this additional lettering, right? Lionel made a couple different models. Some were based on the Sportsman, some on the George Washington. So you had different choices depending what you chose when you ordered it. But that's kind of what that is like there. And then on the back here, again, we got the 492. Of course, an electric coupler, rear lights, lots of ladders and grab irons. So really, really nice detail on this tender. It looks really good. I don't have any other tenders like this. This is the first engine I have with this type of tender. So really like it. Looks nice. But the actual finish on it, paint, everything looks perfect. So I'm not sure what the original problem was with the decoration. I don't know, maybe something was just missing or something. Maybe they forgot like the silver George Washington head on the front here or something. I'm not sure what it was, but whatever it was, they had to delay the arrival of these until they got it resolved. So, but I don't see any problems with it at all. The white walls are all solid across everything here, so looks really good. Now, I will say that this is not what I would consider black. And what I mean by that is you can see on the front here, it's sort of like the gunmetal gray like we're used to. But the main body, even though it may sort of look black in the video, is actually almost like a black with just a hint of gray in it. It's not like pitch black, right? It's almost like a coal black or something. I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely a very, very good looking color, whatever it is. Whatever they can call this paint color, it is really good looking. And it's not so black. So if I put a black engine right next to it, you'd see the difference. It's almost like a light black or something like that, if there is such a thing. So yeah, so it's a unique color I wasn't expecting, but it looks really, really good. Highly recommend this particular model. So if you didn't pre-order it, if you can find one. It looks like they're pretty cool. I mean, we haven't fired it up yet, so we'll check it out, make sure it all works. But so far, just visually from the appearance, looks really, really nice. As far as programming it, the little hatch comes off the top here. It's just magnetic, and all the switches are here, which is always nice when the switches are on top. Then you don't have to flip it over and do all that stuff. So, yeah, this is really nice. All right, so we got it programmed up, and let's just start her up and see what it sounds like. And then this one, of course, is because it's a latest generation Legacy, has 5 bells, 5 whistles in it, all right, the whole deal and all that kind of stuff. We'll check out the crew talk, see if it's unique or if it's just the standard, stuff like that. So let's check it out. All right, it's got some normal startup sounds. That's a nice loud banging too. That's kind of... All right, let's try the whistle. Cool whistle. All right, let's try that's the first one. Let's try the second one. That's not bad either. Let's try a third one. Let's try the fourth one. That doesn't really fit this, I don't think, but... And the last one. Yeah, I don't like that one at all, so back to the first one. I think the first 3 are pretty cool to switch between, so those aren't bad, man. The bell pitch is just normal bell pitch, like, changes. That's the first bell pitch. And the second one. That doesn't sound any different. Sounds the same on the bell pitches to me. Oh, there it goes, sorry. I was holding the slider up too long, so here's the second one. And third one. And fourth one. And last one. So all kinds of bell pitches. That's not bad. Let's go back to the first one. That's its normal. So I do like the 5 bell pitches, 5 whistle options on all the new Legacy engines. It's really nice because you can really pick what you really like. So, all right, let's try the crew talk right here.
Dispatcher, error is made. Brake test complete. Are we clear to pull? Over. Hold your position. Out.
All right, the dialogue is very clear, loud, but it's pretty standard. Nothing special here, looks like.
Gonna be here a while. Timetable has us holding here for number 9. She's running about 20 minutes late.
All right, so I don't think there's anything special, nothing unique to the road number or anything in the crew talk, so just standard crew talk on that one. So, all right, and then you have the normal blowdown. You've got the regular water.
Water's full. Out.
Okay, all pretty standard at this point. And then we've got, let's see, the couplers front and rear. Of course, that's just a sound effect because the front coupler is a scale coupler. And then the rear one. And I did see it open, so that works okay. You've got lighting on the front here, of course. So if you went to the lighting menu, I'm sure you could change the the lighting on these particular things. And then also, looks like it has everything, effects, fuel, water level. You can do on and off for the lights, right? Depending what you're after. Rule 17 lighting. Looks like you have pretty much all the standard stuff, right? So, yeah, I don't see anything that's not standard across the board here. So it looks pretty good. And then this one, of course, has regular smokestack and whistle steam on it. Now, this particular model is fed one place through the main stack, which feeds both smoke units to both that and that. So, typical thing with that is you should really load up your smoke unit and let it sit for a while so that the wick on both sides can draw the fluid in to get to both units. But so I usually fill it up ahead of time and just let it sit for an hour or so, and then come back and try to actually start it and run it. And then the rear does have our backup lights, so you see that. There's no other lights on the back, just the backup light, but that's there, so that works. So everything looks like it works correctly. You can change the LEDs on the marker lights from green to white if you want to. All standard legacy stuff, so no difference there. Alright, so we got the smoke on. Looks like really good smoke output from the stack. Let's try the whistle steam right here is where it comes out. Looks really good there too. So far so good. And we haven't even warmed up yet, so that's great. I got my George Washington matching passenger cars, if you remember those from the other video. There's where I was talking about where they actually, Pullman actually put George Washington on the letterboards, right? As opposed to what they usually did was just Pullman with a number. So, and it has C&O and everything. So we went through these before. These are really nice cars, fully detailed interiors and everything like that, but they're gonna look great running behind this. So, I mean, this is basically based on an actual real train that ran in 1932. So, pretty nice. So let's start her up here. Great whistle smoke from this thing. So that's awesome, no problems. Let's back her up here. Yeah, nice long passenger set. They look great. It's got the George Washington on the back, which is so cool. Station Sounds Diner. Really, really nice train set. Whistle smoke on this is really strong. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video on Lionel's Legacy Chesapeake and Ohio F-19, the George Washington. That engine along with the passenger cars, very impressive set, looks fantastic. These Pacifics are one of my favorite engines because of their size. They're like that nice size, it's not too big, not gigantic like big boys and things like that, or big articulated engines. They always run fine, even over that one little problem track, which is that uncoupling track section where sometimes some of them short over that. This one went right through, no problems, went through all the switches, no problems. The F-19 Pacifics are just a great middle engine that always works, right? These worked flawlessly out of the box, no problems. You saw the whistle smoke was super strong, which is always great. And yeah, everything works perfectly on the engine. So it was an extra year to get these things for whatever reason, but they came out really nice and everything seems to work 100%. So if you didn't pre-order one of these and you think you want one now, I do know Nicholas Smith has some extras, so you want to check them out. If you call Dave, tell him I sent you. He'll give you a good price on one if you haven't pre-ordered one and you want to pick one up, because I would highly recommend these engines. It's kind of funny, my $2,300 big boy engine, which is still at Lionel, right? I haven't actually be able to run because it's like, you know, has so many issues with the wheels and everything like that, right? And yet here, an engine that costs half that much works perfectly right out of the box. Because it's simpler, right? Simpler, straight Pacific engine, and these things always work great. So I've got like a Blue Comet Pacific and stuff like that. They always work fine. So I love these middle-sized engines. They always just seem to be the best. So, alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, put your comments down below about this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace guys, and hope you all have a happy holiday and a great new year.